Hello, I'm Mary V. Today, let's talk about different ways to practice effectively. So many violinists use repetition in their practice, but they're really using it the wrong way because all they're doing is reinforcing the thing that's not right. For example, if it's not in tune, the only way to cure the tuning and to make it better is to slow things right down and give the ears a chance to develop their skills at judging whether the note is right or wrong. For example, take a very simple scale, D major, and we'll play it out of tune. A lot of that was sharp. But the trouble is that we can get used to our own tuning so much that we don't hear whether it's accurate or not. We just hear it and it goes no further. And we never adjust. But the correct way to practice for tuning is to slow everything down incredibly. Sometimes we can use double stopping to help us to see whether the notes sit comfortably together. Now, what you're doing is two things. You're training your left hand to know where the fingers go, and you must do that very slowly. But you're also training your ears to tune in to what is really right and accurate. And a little bit of that every day really improves your intonation. So don't be afraid of being out of tune. Just know what to do when it is out of tune. So don't do this. Sort of move your fingers around trying to find the right note. That's not teaching your fingers to be really accurate and know exactly where to go. So the right way to practice that is like this. Oops, sharp. So start again. Try to vary the speeds that you're practicing something very simple. Because if you vary the speeds, it gives you more flexibility in your fingers. Whereas if you're always playing very, very slowly, it's difficult for your fingers to sort of join up the sense of things. Now try it a little bit faster and more joined up, maybe slurring the notes together. And then go back to very, very slowly. So make sure that you don't practice intonation for too long. Have a break after about 5 minutes and so that your ears can stay very, very fresh. Because the last thing you want to do is practice the bad intonation. So if we take another kind of practice, which is to do with the bow, if we take a Kreutzer study, I think it's number 2, isn't it? But there's ways that we can practice our bowing by doing little slurs every second beat. Or you can do that at the tip. Or you could try it slurred, 4 notes to a bow. Or you could play it off the string. There's so many ways that we can use these studies. Let's go to having difficulty in a passage and how to break that down and how we practice that. So let's take something by Bach. So for example, I might be using too much bow when I'm playing it, so I've got to be very careful that when I slow it down, that I don't use much more bow. I've got to use the same amount as when I play it up to speed. So I want to get that C sharp really clear. So that's the sense of what I'm after. So let's try it a little faster. Remember, varying the speed is really, really good. Right, that's a lot better because I'm emphasizing the notes that I want. First time it's the C sharp, the next time it's the D, and that carries the music through. Let's try it a little faster than that, faster than I would play it. Right, I thought that my string crossings at the beginning weren't very good. I didn't let my arm come up enough. Sometimes all you need to do is to be aware of something to improve it, to allow your arm to come into the G string position properly, rather than sort of coming round the corner. All right, so just relax, and sometimes you've got to play without being super careful. Sort of let it go a little bit and just see how you're getting on. That's another way to practice occasionally. I'll try that again. Right, some of that was a bit better. I need to relax my bow arm now and allow it to go onto the different strings without trying to control it too much. So let's have another go. doing it in chunks and trying to work out what you're doing with your bow that's sort of restricting the flow of the music. You need to know what notes that you want to really go for, and that brings a lot of clarity to the music. Let's take another way of practicing, which is memorizing things. So the best way to memorize is to listen very carefully to what you're doing and say, take the first 2 bars of something. I'll take a study. And then I'll go further back, take a step back, so I can still see the music, but I can't see it clearly. I just see the shapes of it going up and down, okay? So that just gives me a little visual reminder. And then I start walking around. Walking around is a great way to practice. It gives you a lot of freedom and sort of distractions to look at, but it doesn't put you off. That's a very good practice. Now doing it that way, you know, looking at the music and then looking at the shape of the music and then seeing if you can do, say, 2 bars without the music, that's the best way to memorize something. And I do recommend walking around when you're practicing. Instead of being glued to the music all the time, you start becoming aware of different things. So give yourself a chance to experience that. So let's take a little bit of Chrysler and have a look at how to practice that. So if it sounds fluffy, a little bit like this, right? Now that's a very common thing where the left hand is not moving as fast at the same time as the right hand. So that's a very common cause of everything sounding very fluffy. So that's got to be broken down, and you've got to be able to move your fingers at exactly the same time as the bowing. So get away from the piece and just play a D major scale. That's one of the most challenging patterns, which is open 1 1 2 2 3 3, open open 1 1 2 2 3 3, like so. So, and you'll find out which of your fingers is a little bit slow. Oops, it was my second finger there. So you've got to work up to it, starting quite slowly and making sure that they really, really are working together. It's rather tricky to play that absolutely right because you've got a string crossing in the middle of it from the A to the D, and it usually kind of trips you up a little bit. So it's a very, very good one to get your coordination really, really accurate. Try it on the G string. So don't expect that alone to improve your coordination. You've got to sort of work up to it, sometimes playing a little bit faster and then going slower again, and do it for a number of days or weeks. And eventually you will find that your brain can manage to move the fingers and the bow exactly at the same time. So always be patient and try to keep everything fresh. Don't practice for hours and hours without a break. You're not doing yourselves any favours by doing that. So Isaac Perelman said, don't practice your mistakes. Now for a violinist that's rather hard to do, but it's good to try. So if you become aware of something, don't keep on repeating it as if that's going to make it better. No, you need to break it down into very, very small chunks. The more we can practice really efficiently, break things down into little clusters and use our ears and train our ears to listen very accurately, the more improvement we will make. So I hope you enjoy your experiments, and I'll say bye-bye for now.